Okay, I'm going to do a little series of videos on the build of a horizontal forge. This is a forge body that is 20 inches long, and it's basically 12-inch tubing outside, so about 11 and a half or something inside, whatever it works out to be. I just today got the ceramic, the 1-inch fiber board, and I already have some ceramic wool, and I've got fire brick, castable refractory. And what's going to happen here is on what's going to be the bottom, I have some feet down here on the bottom. So on the bottom is going to get 1 inch of the fiber board, and then all the way around is going to get 1 inch of the ceramic wool, then another inch of the fiber board, and then in the center is going to be, I'm going to put a 6-inch tube right in the center of the square, and then pour castable refractory between the fiber board and the 6-inch solid core. And there will be a blower coming in right in the middle on the side, so we'll get to that eventually. I'll show a couple little pictures as we go. Okay, now the two sides and the top have 1 inch of ceramic wool, and the bottom has 1 inch of the fiber board, ceramic fiber board. What's going to happen is this is going to get eventually a large amount of castable refractory in it to create the tunnel, but I don't want gravity compressing the ceramic wool, so the bottom is going to be 2 inches of fiber board, and the sides and the top will be 1 inch ceramic wool and 1 inch of fiber board. Okay, now I've got my 2 inches of my insulation, and what's going to go in the center of that is going to be a tube. I'm going to get it centered in that hole, and then around that is going to go castable refractory between the pipe and that's a 6-inch pipe. Going to go right in the center, and then I'm going to pour in around it with castable refractory. So what I need to do now is figure out where my burner hole needs to get cut in, and because the castable refractory, then I'm going to stick the tube in there, and the castable refractory, there will literally be a tube, a hole shaped into the castable refractory where the burner slides in. So that's next. Okay, this excuse me, might be a little bit difficult to see, but it's a piece of 6-inch stovepipe that's stuck in the tube, in the insulated tube now. And what I did was I stuck some screws into there, maybe you can see them in there. Stuck some screws in the hard ceramic fiber board, all the same length in the 4 sides, so it holds that 6-inch stovepipe in the center. And then what I'll do is I'll stand this thing on end. I'll pour, I don't know what I'll do. I might spray that thing with graphite spray paint, and then pour that void on the outside here between the pipe and the insulation with castable refractory. Once I get my burner hole cut in there and a tube stuck in there, and pour that, and then when the refractory is basically set up, I'll be with that graphite spray on there, I'll just pull the tube out and let it harden. I'll stand it up on end and pour it, and then I'll have a burner hole right here in the center, 1.25 inches, and it will go in and it'll be shaped to the 6-inch radius on that, or actually it's a 3-inch radius, but the 6-inch diameter on that pipe will sit against that, and then it'll also be sprayed, so when the refractory sets up I can pull it out, pull this tube out, and there will be a center 6-inch burning chamber with a hole for the burner pipe to come in. Anyway, that's what's going on. So there we are. Okay, now here I've got everything emptied here so I can do some cutting and welding, but just to give you guys an idea, where's my blower? I don't know where my I don't even know where my blower is at the moment, but that's kind of irrelevant. This is the oh, it's in the other room. This is doing some welding, right? So this is going to be the actual tube. I wonder if we can see that down in here. Yeah, there you go. See, this is kind of what's going to happen. You see the radius on that? The radius on that blower, I'm going to be sticking this in the forge body when I pour the castable refractory. And that, I'll pull this out of here. This is the blower tube, and this blower tube radius matches the radius of this. Can you see it matches the radius of that? This thing, the stovepipe's going to be in the forge when I pour the castable, then it will get pulled out and it will create the chamber. This thing is going to be sitting right on it when the castable is poured, so that I can pull this thing in and out of the forge whenever I want to service it or replace it or whatever, and it'll fit right in the chase that this thing creates when the castable is formed. This is just sitting on here. It's going to have 2 lock nuts to lock the blower in place, and then there's the hole that everything's going to fit down into. It's right in the center of the forge from front to back, and it's going to enter the chamber at the top, combustion chamber at the top of the combustion chamber. Seemed like there was just something else I was gonna, oh, there's this is the hole for the burner to go through the hardboard, and these hardboards all have a screw screwed in them that when I slide that tube into, these screws will center it in the forge. So I'm literally just, all I got to do is weld right now, weld this thing in place, slide everything together, and this thing's ready to pour, which I will do probably tomorrow. So that's where things are right now.